My friends, I want you to pause for a moment and think about the person you see every morning in the mirror. That person, not your neighbor, not your colleague, not your rival, not the one you envy on social media, but that person is your greatest competition. You see, life is not about outshining others. It is about outgrowing yourself. The true race is not against the crowd. It is against the limitations you have placed on your own potential. I remember meeting a man who worked in a small corner shop. He had no degrees, no fame, no resources. But every day he said, "Today I must be better than I was yesterday." And slowly, step by step, he built a business, employed hundreds, and changed his community. He didn't run against others. He ran against himself. That is the secret of greatness. Ordinary people who simply refuse to settle for yesterday's version of themselves. They rise above fear. They rise above excuses. They rise above their own doubts. Listen carefully. The only person who can hold you back is the one wearing your shoes. But the same person who holds you back can also push you forward. Perseverance is the bridge between who you are and who you are meant to be. Change is the price you must pay for growth. And belief in the God who gave you life, and belief in the potential He placed inside you, is the fuel that will keep you running when the race feels long. So I say to you today, stop comparing your chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 20. Stop measuring your worth by another man's applause. Stop shrinking your dream to fit someone else's opinion. Your destiny is too unique to compete with anyone else. Your calling is too sacred to waste in jealousy, and your future is too great to remain trapped in the shadows of yesterday. My brothers and sisters, rise up. Compete only with yourself. Strive to live each day a little wiser, a little stronger, a little braver than before. Because when you win that inner battle, the world outside has no choice but to recognize the greatness inside. Remember this, your only competition is you. And if you conquer yourself, there is no limit to what you can achieve. Now is the time. Run your race. Fight your fight. Live your destiny. When you wake up in the morning and stand before that mirror, do you know what you are truly looking at? You are not just adjusting your hair or straightening your clothes. No, you are facing your greatest rival. That reflection staring back at you is the only person who can either stop you or propel you forward. It is not your boss, not your friends, not your critics, not even your enemies. The mirror reveals the real opponent, the only one powerful enough to determine your future. We often think that competition lives outside of us. We measure ourselves against the achievements of others, against the wealth of others, against the success of others. We compare our journey with their highlights, and our confidence begins to sink. But listen carefully. True competition is not about outpacing another person. It is about confronting the reflection that greets you every morning and asking, am I stronger, wiser, and better than I was yesterday? That face in the mirror carries every excuse you've ever told yourself. It carries every dream you've buried under fear, every promise you made and broke to yourself. That face is the one who whispers, you can't do it, it's too late, you don't have enough. And yet, that same face is also the one who can declare, I will rise again, I will grow. I will not stop until I see the greatness inside me revealed. Let me tell you something. History is not shaped by those who had no competition. It is shaped by those who chose to compete with themselves. Think about the athlete who wakes up before dawn, not to prove anything to the crowd, but to prove something to the man in the mirror. Think about the single mother who refuses to let her children inherit a life of limitation, pushing herself daily not because the world expects it, but because her own reflection demands more of her. You cannot run from the person in the mirror. You can lie to others, but you cannot lie to yourself. Every night when you return to that same mirror, it will ask you, did you waste today? Or did you use it? Did you retreat into fear, or did you step forward in courage? That is the real scoreboard of life. The mirror does not judge you by someone else's standards. It knows your potential, your hidden talents, your unrealized purpose. And it will never stop reminding you of what you are capable of becoming. This is why it is such a dangerous rival. You can silence critics by ignoring them. You can dismiss doubters by proving them wrong. But the mirror knows your truth. It knows whether you pushed yourself or settled for mediocrity. And that is why the mirror must become your coach as much as your competition. Each morning you must look into those eyes and say, I expect more of you today. Each evening you must return and say, did I keep my word? Because growth is not measured in applause. Growth is measured in that quiet confrontation with the reflection that refuses to lie to you. I once met a man who worked as a janitor. Day after day, he would mop floors when no one was watching. But he told me something remarkable. He said, every day I asked myself, can I clean this floor better than I did yesterday? And he did. Year after year, he kept challenging himself. That simple discipline led him to start his own cleaning company, and eventually he employed hundreds of people. Do you see? His competition was never the other janitor down the hall. His competition was the man in the mirror. This is what makes the mirror such a powerful rival. It demands consistency, it demands honesty, it demands responsibility. The mirror will not celebrate your excuses. It will not clap for your complaints. It will not reward your laziness. But it will reflect back to you the results of every choice you made. So when you look into the mirror, do not just see your face. See your future. See your destiny waiting to be unlocked. See your greatest rival challenging you to rise higher. And remember, the only way to defeat that rival is not by running from it, but by facing it every day with courage, determination, and the unshakable belief that you are meant for more. We live in a world that constantly invites us to compare ourselves with others. Open your phone, and in a matter of seconds, you see someone's success, someone's beauty, someone's wealth, someone's achievement. And almost without realizing it, you begin to measure your own worth against their highlight reel. But let me tell you the truth, life was never designed for comparison. It was designed for growth. Your race is not against them. Your journey is not theirs. Your story is not meant to look like anyone else's. The danger of comparison is that it blinds you to your own progress. You could be climbing higher, but because someone else is on a different mountain, you begin to despise your own. You could be moving forward step by step, but because their steps seem larger, you start to doubt the value of yours. Yet growth is never about speed, it is about direction. If you are moving forward, no matter how slow, you are already winning. Think about a seed planted in the ground. One seed may sprout in 3 days, another may take 3 weeks, and another may lie dormant for months before breaking through the soil. If the slowest seed began to compare itself to the fastest, it would think it is failing. But the truth is, each seed carries its own timing, its own rhythm, its own process. And when it finally rises, it may grow into a tree far larger than the ones that came before it. So hear me carefully, do not despise your growth, because it does not look like someone else's. I once spoke to a young woman who was frustrated because her friends seemed to be moving faster in life. They had better jobs, they had bought houses, they had achieved things she had only dreamed of. She said, I feel like I'm being left behind. I looked at her and said, the only person you need to outgrow is the person you were yesterday. The only question you must answer is, are you better today than you were last year? If the answer is yes, then you are right on time. That shifted her perspective. She stopped chasing their shadows and started watering her own soil. Within a few years, her path opened in ways she never imagined, but it only happened when she focused on growth, not comparison. Comparison is a thief. It steals your joy, it steals your confidence, and worst of all, it steals your focus. Because while you are staring at someone else's lane, you are missing the beauty and responsibility of your own. But growth is a gift. Growth allows you to celebrate your journey without needing to minimize someone else's. Growth teaches you patience. It teaches you resilience. It teaches you the value of persistence. Every great person you admire today became who they are, not by outshining someone else, but by committing to their own growth. The writer did not compare his work with another author's. He kept writing until his words carried power. The athlete did not waste time watching another player. He trained until his skill became undeniable. The teacher did not try to be like another voice. She nurtured her own until generations were changed by her wisdom. Growth is not loud. It does not always post itself on social media. Sometimes growth is hidden, like roots stretching deep into the ground where no one can see. And yet, without those roots, the tree cannot stand when the storm comes. So never underestimate the seasons when your growth is invisible. Those are the moments that prepare you for the visible breakthroughs ahead. You must ask yourself daily, am I learning? Am I stretching? Am I becoming wiser? Am I letting go of who I used to be in order to embrace who I am becoming? That is growth. You are not competing to be the best in the world. You are growing to be the best for the world. Your gift, your talent, your purpose, all of it is waiting for you to nurture it without distraction. So when the temptation of comparison creeps in, remember this, your journey is unique, your process is sacred, and your timing is divine. Growth may not always look impressive to others, but it is the only path that leads you to the destiny written for you. And if you stay faithful to that growth, You will one day look back and realize that everything you became was never because you outran anyone else, but because you chose to outgrow yourself. We often believe that greatness is reserved for a special class of people, for those born into privilege, for those with the right connections, for those who had opportunities handed to them. But it is not the truth. The truth is, extraordinary lives are built out of ordinary people who make an uncommon decision to rise above where they started, to demand more of themselves, to refuse to remain the same. Think of the stories we admire most. They are rarely about people who had it all. They are about people who had nothing, yet refused to stay there. They are about people who faced closed doors, yet knocked until they opened. They are about people who stumbled, fell, and were counted out, yet somehow found the strength to stand up again. Ordinary men and women who decided that their current reality would not be their final destiny. I once met a man who worked long hours as a bus driver. Every day, he would drive passengers back and forth across the city. On the surface, it seemed like a simple, even thankless job, but he told me something powerful. He said, "Every day I remind myself, this is not just about driving. This is about discipline, about responsibility, about being faithful where I am, so that when more comes, I will be ready." Years later, he saved enough to start a small transportation company, and today he provides opportunities for many others. What changed his story? He was ordinary, but he treated his ordinary days as preparation for something extraordinary. Greatness is not about what you start with. It is about what you do with what you have. A seed looks small, fragile, and insignificant, but inside that seed is a forest waiting to be born. Inside you there is more potential than you can imagine, and the only difference between ordinary and extraordinary is whether you will plant that seed and allow it to grow. Many people waste their lives waiting for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, the perfect resources. They say, "If only I had what they have, I could do something great." But let me tell you, those who achieve extraordinary things are not those who wait for perfect conditions. They are those who take imperfect beginnings and make them work. They are those who use what they have right where they are and keep building until doors begin to open. Think about the stories of inventors, leaders, and dreamers throughout history. Many of them were laughed at, rejected, and overlooked. But they kept going. They kept pushing. They kept believing that the ordinary moments of struggle and failure were shaping them for something extraordinary. And in the end, the world called them great. But in the beginning, they were just like you, ordinary. Every day you are given small opportunities to grow, to stretch, to rise above comfort. These are not wasted moments. They are the training ground of the extraordinary. It may be the discipline of waking up earlier. It may be the choice to read instead of wasting hours in distraction. It may be the courage to start something small, even when no one notices. These little decisions accumulate. They shape your character. They sharpen your vision. They prepare you for the weight of greater responsibility. Ordinary people who do extraordinary things are not those who avoid failure. They are those who refuse to be defined by it. Failure does not make you less. It makes you more if you choose to learn from it. Each time you rise after falling, you prove that you are capable of greater resilience, greater strength, greater wisdom. The extraordinary is not out there, it is in you. It is hidden inside your consistency, your discipline, your faith, your belief that the future can be better than the present. The extraordinary is unlocked every time you decide to keep moving when it would be easier to quit. It is unlocked every time you decide to rise above excuses and face the challenge. And the beautiful truth is no one begins extraordinary. We all start in the same place, ordinary, flawed, uncertain, afraid. But if you can take what is ordinary in your hands and commit it to growth, to faith, to perseverance, it will become extraordinary in time. Perseverance is one of the most misunderstood forces in the journey of life. People admire success, they celebrate victory, they applaud the finished story. But very few see the hidden path that leads there. That path is not paved with applause. It is paved with trials, disappointments, long nights, unanswered prayers, and moments when quitting seems easier than continuing. And yet, those who embrace perseverance, those who choose to endure, eventually step into a destiny that others only dream about. Perseverance is the bridge between where you are and where you are meant to be. You can have vision, you can have talent, you can have opportunity, but without perseverance, you will never cross into destiny. Talent may open the door, but only perseverance will keep you walking through it when the journey gets long. Opportunity may excite you, but perseverance sustains you when the excitement fades. Vision may inspire you, but perseverance keeps you steady when the vision seems impossible. But perseverance alone is not enough. You see, perseverance must be fueled by belief. Without belief, perseverance turns into stubbornness. Without belief, you can keep walking but never with conviction. Belief is what gives perseverance its fire. Belief is what tells you there is purpose in this struggle. There is value in this pain. There is destiny on the other side of this mountain. When perseverance and belief come together, they create an unstoppable force. Think about a runner in a marathon. The body grows tired, the legs ache, the lungs burn, but it is belief that whispers, "Keep going, you can finish." That belief strengthens perseverance, and step by step, the runner presses on. Without belief, he would stop at mile 10. Without perseverance, belief would remain just a thought. But together, they carry him to the finish line. I once spoke with a young man who dreamed of becoming an architect. He had no money for school, no connections, and no support. He applied for scholarships and was rejected over and over. Every rejection was a blow, but each time he said to himself, "I was created for this. This is my calling." His belief in his destiny fueled his perseverance. He worked small jobs, studied late into the night, and applied again and again. Years later, he became one of the most respected architects in his region. People saw his success, but what they did not see was the perseverance that kept him moving and the belief that reminded him why he could not give up. Belief without perseverance is weak. It is easy to say, "I believe in a better future," but belief must be tested. It must pass through seasons where nothing seems to change. It must endure the silence of unanswered prayers. It must withstand the mockery of those who doubt you. That is where perseverance proves whether belief is real. At the same time, perseverance without belief becomes exhausting. If you are simply pushing forward without knowing why, eventually the weight will crush you. But when you know that your life carries purpose, when you believe that your Creator placed something inside you that the world needs, perseverance becomes lighter. You are no longer just enduring. You are moving with intention toward destiny. Look around you at every person who has made a mark in history. Their stories are different, but their formula is the same. They persevered when it would have been easier to quit. They believed when others laughed. They endured storms, setbacks, betrayals, and loneliness, but belief carried them through. Their destiny was not given to them. It was fought for through perseverance and belief. This is the key to unlocking your own destiny. Do not despise the struggle. Do not be discouraged by the delays. Every obstacle you face is shaping your perseverance. Every challenge is testing the strength of your belief, and together, they are preparing you for the destiny waiting on the other side. Victory is not something the world gives you. It is not something handed to you by chance, nor is it something that can be taken away by another person. Victory is an inside job. It begins, lives, and grows within you. Too many people spend their lives chasing external victories, titles, trophies, recognition, applause, only to find themselves empty once the lights fade. But real victory, the kind that lasts, is born inside. It is the victory of conquering yourself, of overcoming the battles no one else sees, of mastering your fears, your doubts, and your excuses. The hardest enemy you will ever face is not outside of you. It is within. It is the voice that says you're not good enough, the hesitation that holds you back, the fear that convinces you to stop. That is the battlefield of life, the inner struggle. And until you win there, every other victory will be temporary. But once you conquer that inner war, no power on earth can stop you from stepping into your destiny. I once spoke with a young athlete who was incredibly gifted. He had speed, strength, and talent, but he kept losing. Not because he lacked ability, but because he was defeated before he even stepped on the track. He said to me, "Every time I line up, I hear this voice inside telling me I can't do it." That was his real opponent. Not the man standing beside him, but the fear inside of him. The day he decided to silence that voice, to speak back to it with courage and faith, everything changed. He began to win, not because he became faster, but because he gained victory within. Victory is not about what you conquer outside. It is about who you become inside. If you win every battle on the outside but remain broken, bitter, and fearful on the inside, you have not truly won. But if you overcome the anger, the pride, the laziness, the despair within you, then no matter what happens outside, you are already victorious. Think of the great men and women we admire in history. Their triumph was not just in what they accomplished, but in what they overcame within themselves. Some battled poverty, some battled rejection, some battled insecurity, some battled failure after failure. Yet they refused to surrender to those inner enemies. And because they gained victory within, they changed the world outside. The truth is, every day gives you a chance to win small victories inside yourself. When you wake up and push past the temptation to quit, that's victory. When you choose discipline over distraction, that's victory. When you decide to forgive instead of holding on to bitterness, that's victory. When you replace fear with faith, when you silence doubt with action, when you move forward in spite of uncertainty, those are the victories that build a life of greatness. You do not need the world's approval to be victorious. You do not need everyone to agree with you, to applaud you, or to believe in you. All you need is to believe in yourself enough to keep going, to persevere, to rise again after you fall. Because victory is not defined by never falling. Victory is defined by never staying down. Inside of you is strength you have not yet tapped into, courage you have not yet released, potential you have not yet discovered. That is why victory is within. It is not something you are chasing. It is something you are uncovering. The battles of life are not designed to destroy you. They are designed to reveal what is already inside of you. And the beautiful truth is, once you find victory within, no loss can take it away. You can lose money, but if you've gained victory within, you can build again. You can lose opportunities, but if you've gained victory within, you will create new ones. You can face rejection, but if you've gained victory within, rejection cannot stop you. Because victory within makes you unshakable, unstoppable, unbreakable. Every time you choose to rise, every time you choose to keep moving, every time you choose to believe when everything says otherwise, you are proving that victory is not something the world gives you. It is something you carry inside. My friends, after everything we have explored together, there is one truth I want you to carry with you for the rest of your life. Your only competition is you. The mirror is your rival. Every morning it asks you a question: will you live by excuses or will you live by growth? It does not compare you to others. It compares you to the person you were yesterday. That is where your real fight begins. Life is about growth, not comparison. You are not called to copy anyone else's journey. You are called to outgrow your fears, your doubts, your failures, and your limitations. And when you do that, you will discover that what makes you extraordinary is not where you started, but how you chose to rise. Ordinary men and women who decide daily, I will not remain the same, become the extraordinary voices that shape history. But remember, destiny does not come cheap. Perseverance is the bridge you must cross, and belief is the fire that will carry you across it. Without perseverance, you will quit too soon. Without belief, you will have no reason to keep going. But when perseverance and belief walk together, nothing in this world can stop you from reaching your destiny. And the final truth is this: victory is already within you, not in the applause of others, not in the trophies of this world, but in the daily battles you win over yourself. When you silence doubt, when you conquer fear, when you choose discipline over distraction, you are proving to the world that real victory begins inside. So rise up. Stop measuring your life by what others are doing. Stop shrinking your dream to fit someone else's opinion. Compete only with the person you were yesterday. Grow a little stronger, stand a little taller, believe a little deeper, and persevere a little longer. And when you do, you will see that your life carries greatness beyond imagination. Because in the end, the world does not need you to be better than someone else. The world needs you to become the best version of yourself. And if you conquer that inner battle, there is no power on earth that can keep you from your destiny.